Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Aaron is right here. I always feel compelled to double check my audio as soon as I go live. The worst thing is being live and then finding out the audio's not working. Okay, it looks like it's working just fine. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to SPTV. I think SPTV is what me and Mark and Mike are going to call our collective YouTube experience. How about that? SPTV. SPTV guaranteed to have more viewers than Scientology TV. And also, all of our channels individually, mine, Mark's, Mike's, all have more people watching live than David Miscavige has watching him at any event at any time since 1993. Isn't that incredible? You'd think Scientology would actually make better use of YouTube. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't want to get off subject here. The subject of this video is David Miscavige has gone back into hiding. We're talking about Captain Keebler himself, Scientology's boss baby. He has gone the effect of the suppression on planet Earth and gone back into the hiding behind the walls of his Clearwater fortress. Let me show you what the heck I'm talking about, you guys. I'm going to share with you a blog post that Mike Rinder did this morning. By the way, if you haven't already gotten Mike's book, A Billion Years, check it out. If you want a personalized autographed copy, you can click that link right there on the left on this blog. Mike Rinder's blog, Something Can Be Done About It. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Let's discuss this and let's discuss what this means. March 13th, save the dates. Okay, why does that say sick? Oh, I mean, I know what sick means. Oh, I think it means, yes, it really does mean save the dates. I grew up in a cult, guys. Bear with me. Okay, so this is a poster, a promotional email. Save the date. L. Ron Hubbard's birthday celebration will be held live at Flag. Now, Flag is the name of Scientology's giant organization in downtown Clearwater. The birthday celebration will be held live at Flag and exported to all orgs. We're finalizing our date, but it will be either March 18th or March 25th. Save these dates so you can be part of this historic event. This is Central Ohio Chapel. Let me see. What is the org that they call Central Ohio now? There's a Scientology org. It's either in Columbus or Cincinnati. That now they call it the Church of Scientology of Central Ohio. It's not. Someone let me know in the chat which org this is. Well, wait, 614. Let me quickly Google 614 area code. Columbus. There we go. Okay, so the Columbus org. Guys, this is a special note to you Scientologists out there who watch this channel. March 18th is less than 3 weeks away for a major international event. And you guys don't know what day the event's going to be on? I've never even heard of such a thing in Scientology. People are usually confirming for events over a month in advance. Now, I realize that March 18th to March 25th, that doesn't mean they don't know the date that David Miscavige is going to do the event. It means they don't know the date that they're going to show the replaying of the event at the Columbus org. But still, it's a small example. It's a tiny example, but a real example of how, I want to say pathetic. I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but how ridiculous and everything's sort of held together with Scotch tape. the Scientology world has gotten. I know I don't mean to like beat this to death, but this is important. They don't even know the date the event's going to happen, and it's less than 3 weeks away. Okay, moving on. Mike says, let me zoom this in a bit here. Okay. Word on the street is that there's going to be an amazing event for March 13th. Supposedly the first international event since COVID. I don't want to assume everybody already knows what we're talking about here. So for anyone new to this, Scientology, before the lockdowns back in March 2020, there was 5 or 6 major, I'll go full screen here, major international events in the world of Scientology every year. And an international event was basically an opportunity for David Miscavige and other members of international management to brief all Scientologists in the world about the latest goings on, the latest expansion news, all the excitement, Of course, it was all BS. It was all lies. It was all propaganda. By the way, that is not an exaggeration. All of the expansion statistics Scientology puts out in its events is, in fact, false information. And I won't belabor that point right now, but Mike Rinder and I had a great discussion about that very subject on our Q&A that we did on his channel last night. So you might want to check that out. These events were a seriously important opportunity for Miscavige to basically keep the sheep on the same page. I realize I'm using insulting language. I just can't help it right now, guys. I'm just in a mood. This was Miscavige's way to keep all the sheep on the same page. And it was also important fundraising opportunities, major important international fundraising opportunities 5 or 6 times per year. And ever since March 2020, Miscavige has canceled all international Scientology events. And it's continued that way, even though the world has opened up and has been opened up for years. Scientology world has continued to be practically closed down. Incredible. Okay. This is supposed to be supposedly the first international event since COVID. But this amazing event doesn't have a date yet, which seems a bit odd. No doubt Miscavige is going to deliver a Sherman Speak Hype Fest in the Flag Auditorium. So Dan Sherman is a Scientologist who writes all of Miscavige's speeches, and he uses this real flowery, incomprehensible, he's got this almost incomprehensible way of writing. And Miscavige reads these scripts at the events, and he sounds absolutely ridiculous. So a Sherman Speak Hype Fest in the Flag Auditorium, like he did at New Year's. And this will then be sent out to Scientology orgs around the world to replay. The March 13th event, this is really the point of this video, guys. We're the next line here. The March 13th event used to be held at Ruth Eckert Hall every year, but it's not going to be this year. Why not? 2 reasons. First, Miscavige, as I predicted, is now trying to overturn the magistrate judge's order that he has been served in the Baxter Paris case. Okay, so once again, real quick, I don't want to assume everybody already knows what we're talking about. There is a labor trafficking lawsuit occurring right now in a Tampa federal district court against David Miscavige and a handful of Scientology organizations. And the organizations that are being sued have long since accepted service in the suit and have responded to the complaint and are moving forward with that lawsuit. David Miscavige, as an individual, was hiding from the process servers. That's why he was in hiding since last April or something like that. That's why we almost had to sick dog the bounty hunter on him. And if Miscavige isn't careful, we're going to pull dog out of retirement. We're going to send him after that little guy. Okay. So what happened is a couple weeks ago, a magistrate judge in that case ruled that David Miscavige has officially been served. And there was some conversation that was like, okay, well, now that Miscavige has officially been served, he's officially a party to the lawsuit. He's officially subject to the jurisdiction of the court. There's no reason for him to be hiding anymore. But Mike Rinder predicted that Scientology's legal strategy would be to basically contest this order. And that is what is being referred to here. So he goes, first, Miscavige, as I predicted, is now trying to overturn the magistrate judge's order that he has been served in the Baxter Paris case. So he still cannot afford to be out in public where someone might hand him a subpoena. If he got tagged, it would make the expensive filings his lawyers are making moot. And the ability to drag on this one issue and cost the plaintiffs time and money would be terminated. Second, it would be terribly embarrassing to not be able to fill Ruth Eckert Hall. I doubt they could at this point, even with Sea Org members and outer org trainees. The incredible shrinking world of Scientology. Try as they might to convince themselves they are in an unprecedented era of massive straight up and vertical growth, the evidence is the exact opposite. It is hard to overstate that last point. I've been hearing a lot more recently from under the radar Scientologists, people who've recently left the Sea Org, about exactly just how empty various Scientology organizations are. And for you out there who have any familiarity with the Scientology world, this is going to really, I'm going to give you just one example. So I heard from someone who started telling me, in Pack on L. Ron Hubbard Way, there's 3 Scientology organizations that deliver service to people, but 2 of them, one of them is called the American St. Hill Organization, or ASHO. It's big. It's got massive course rooms. It's got like 12 course rooms. This organization is supposed to exist to deliver Scientology's Class 6 auditor course, the St. Hill Special Briefing course. It is specifically designed to be a massive Scientology training center. There's another organization called the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles, AOLA. This is the only organization in all of Los Angeles that can deliver Scientology's OT levels, the super confidential upper level OT levels to Scientologists. These 2 organizations, of all Scientology organizations in the entire LA area, should be packed because they're the only organizations that deliver what they deliver. And what they deliver is at the top of Scientology's bridge. So it's almost like a choke point. Everyone in Los Angeles, Southern California, who's doing any advanced auditor training or OT levels has to be in these 2 organizations. And I heard from somebody, and they specifically said that at any given time, there's a maximum of 15 people on course at ASHO and AOLA combined. Sometimes it's 5. Like at the busiest evening slot, there might be 15 people combined in both buildings. And I was being sort of charitable, and I said, yeah, but that's, you're talking about after they opened up from the COVID lockdowns. And this person said, no, that was before the COVID lockdowns. Guys, even when I was still in Scientology, working in the C organization at ASHO and AOLA, there was easily combined hundreds of people on services in those buildings at the same time, at any given time. The course rooms, the Hubbard Guidance Centers where professional auditing is delivered, the Solo 1 course room at AOLA, the Solo 2 course room, hundreds. And the reason why it's important to differentiate between before the COVID lockdowns and after the COVID lockdowns is it's gotten even worse after the COVID lockdowns. So when Mike says they couldn't fill up Ruth Eckerd Hall, even with all the Sea Org members and even with all the outer org trainees, that is so correct. And okay, for you under the radar Scientologists in Clearwater, and I know I ask this every single time as if I don't already have people that contact me, but I always like to invite new people to contact me. Please let me know. What are the reasons you're being given why these events, this event in particular, but also in general, are not being held at a public auditorium that can seat, 2,000 or 3,000 people like Ruth Eckerd Hall? I have a feeling that people are going to come and be like, oh, it's to save money. To people in the bubble, you can give them almost any explanation and people will buy it as an explanation, even though when you think about it, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, if it's something other, I'm hoping it's something other than just save money. I'm hoping there's some other reason. What are the reason Clearwater Scientologists are being told a major international event with chairman of the board, Captain Keebler, boss baby, David Miscavige, is being held in the auditorium of the Fort Harrison Hotel, the same place where they hold weekly graduation every Friday night? Because keep in mind, when David Miscavige is speaking live at a Scientology event, it is mandatory attendance for all Scientologists to be there, at least all Scientologists that have proper ethics clearances, because these days you can't even get into the same room with chairman of the board, even the Flag Auditorium, without proper ethics clearances. You need a special event card. You need a special electronic event card that is only active as long as ethics and security have not filed any reports that you are under suspicion of being in touch with any big, bad, dirty cracker licking SPs like me and Mark Headley and Mike Rinder. So anyhow, I'm losing my train of thought here. Let's see. I do have like 3 or 4 other subjects that I want to talk about, so I'm trying to keep these relatively brief. Let me just check the chat. I don't want to ignore any chats. I only see one here. Let's see what we got. Dave Owens, at least with SPTV, you know what you're getting. Exactly. And you know what? It's free. I mean, I guess Scientology TV is free as well. So we'll give him that. At least something in Scientology is free. But you know what else you get on SPTV? Live original programming. Have you guys ever tried to watch Scientology TV? Give it a shot sometime. Go to their website, Scientology TV. Who cares? Who cares if you give them views? It doesn't mean anything. All they have are these videos. It's just uploaded content. It's not, they're not doing anything new. They have a direct TV channel. The same material that's on the direct TV, the material that's on the direct TV channel is the exact same thing that's on the Scientology.tv website. If for whatever reason you downloaded the Scientology.tv app, it's all the exact same thing. They don't even produce original live content. And they've got these super expensive, state-of-the-art, TV and movie production facilities, and all you get is the same recycled, generic nonsense. You could watch all of their content and still have no idea what Scientology is. And yet on SPTV, what do you get? Guys, if all you did was watch my 2-hour interview with Lex Friedman on his channel, you would have a better understanding of what Scientology is than if you watched the entire video library of Scientology TV. It really is incredible. By the way, I do challenge, and Lex Friedman challenges, any official spokesperson for the Church of Scientology to appear on his podcast and speak up on behalf of Scientology. Okay, I see one here from Goldie. Goldie, did you see how many times Andrew's interview said Scientology doesn't work for everyone? Isn't that a major no-no since Scientology works 100% of the time when applied correctly? Excellent point, Goldie. So on Andrew Gold's channel just earlier today, in fact, that's why I didn't start this stream, haven't started any streams until this late in the day. I was watching Andrew Gold. I was watching his interview with a current Scientologist, and it was very interesting. And yes, one of the things that she did say over and over and over again is Scientology doesn't work for everyone. That's actually not okay for a Scientologist to publicly say. She will be getting a phone call from an ethics officer for sure. Her name was Katie. Just go to Andrew Gold's channel. The woman he was interviewing, her first name is Katie. I don't know her last name. To her credit, it seemed like she was being honest and genuine in her answers, even though she generally was extremely shallow. She was also very shallow in her actual understanding and experience of Scientology itself. I jumped in on that interview in the live chat with some super chats, trying to get her to answer some questions, really to make it clear to everyone how limited and superficial her Scientology experience was. So, for example, she says she's been in Scientology for 9 years, which I believe, and yet she hasn't even done one single major Scientology course. And then she's done a whole bunch of introductory courses. And it's like, but you've been in Scientology for 9 years. You're still at the introductory level. And then she kept saying how she'd had no negative experiences. And then I asked her, like, why haven't you done the student hat course, which is the first major course that you do in Scientology? And she said, well, I'm going to be going to Tampa to do that course. And I said, well, why do you have to go to Tampa to do the student hat course? Why don't you just go to your local organization? And she said, well, I live in Arkansas. There is no organization in the entire state of Arkansas. And you go, oh, you're a Scientologist in name only. You don't even do your courses, which are introductory courses. You don't even do them at a Scientology org. No wonder you live in this la-la land where any negative experience you hear someone else has had, you can just go, well, that's not my experience. You don't even do your courses at a Scientology mission, much less an org. Anyway, I mean, it was a frustrating interview only in the sense that she has such what's the word I'm looking for? She has no real experience to draw upon when answering questions. She's like, Scientology makes me feel good. Anyway, it was a very interesting interview to watch, and I would encourage people to watch it. Go to Andrew Gold's channel, and there you go. But yeah, she will get in trouble for some of the things that she said on that interview. Thank you for that, Goldie. Okay, let me see if anything else has popped up here. Eric Olson, why does Scientology love bureaucracy? Scientology finds change very difficult. The only the only solid explanation for why the bureaucracy of Scientology exists as it does is just that L. Ron Hubbard made it that way. In all of L. Ron Hubbard's policies, there does not necessarily an explanation for why the structure he laid out needs to be that way. It is incredibly redundant and inefficient. Even David Miscavige acknowledges this privately. I heard recently from someone who was involved in some conversations with Miscavige regarding the the management office for West US. It's called the Continental Liaison Office, the CLOS US. Miscavige was complaining openly to managers in LA, why does the CLO West US have 200 staff members? I could get the entire job done with 20. And whereas it's true that that 20 people could probably get the same job done that 200 people are getting done. What's not what's omitted in that statement from Miscavige is that, what do you mean, why do they have 200 people? Because that's the organization L. Ron Hubbard created. That's the organization you have continued to I wanted to use a Scientology word there. Like, Miscavige is questioning why an organizational structure exists when he's been overseeing the organizational structure since more or less 1986-ish. I mean, can you imagine the lack of awareness? Like, you've been running the show for almost 40 years, about 40 years, and you're questioning why it is the way that it is? Why have you allowed it to be that way if you didn't want it to be that way? Like I said, I'm being a little long-winded with this answer, but there's no excellent reason for why you have such bureaucracy. It's just the way L. Ron Hubbard did it. I wish I had a better answer, but there you go. Okay, Rachel McCool-Helton. I ran over here so fast after watching Andrew's interview. Yeah, I mean, what I would like to do when I have a little bit more time, like tomorrow or the next day, is maybe, and I don't want to step on Andrew's toes if he's going to post clips of his interview. I want to take some clips of that interview and do some commentary on it. I think it would be really fun. But Andrew, I thought, really did an excellent job on that interview. There's only so much you can get done with someone who doesn't really know what they're talking about, but Andrew did an excellent job. Okay, we got another one here. Taydor, I think we need to take advice from the Aliens franchise and nuke them from orbit. Keep up the good work, Aaron. Thank you, Taydor. And by the way, your comment will be tallied by Scientology on the long list of threats against Miscavige's life. Any casual joke anywhere on the internet is literally taken as a threat on Miscavige's life and is used by his attorneys why he cannot divulge his actual address. Believe it or not. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's part of their strategy. I'm not even saying don't make comments like that. I'm just ridiculing David Miscavige. Thank you for that. Okay, we got another one here. MB826. Try sending bobbleheads to the Utah UT frats. Utah UT. And have them take pics on drag? What? Okay, try sending bobbleheads to the UT frats and have them take pics on drag. Also, Aftermath contact cards, better jobs for new frat bros than they have now. Oh, is that the University of Texas? Oh, okay. Try sending bobbleheads to the University of Texas frats and have them take pics on drag. I feel like I should know what on drag means, unless you mean in drag, which would be absolutely hilarious. Thank you for that. So yeah, feel free to, well, let's see, maybe, hey, send the messages to the UT frats and tell them to order some bobbleheads, and we'll be happy to send them. And then they can do exactly, if any UT frat members take pictures of Mike Rinder bobbleheads in drag, send them to Mark Headley at the Blown for Good website, and he will use those photos in his Top 10 Tuesdays, where he reviews all the shoops for the week about David Miscavige. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Okay, let's see if we got something else here. Tarkina Meyer, how you doing, Tarkina? Always good to see you here. She also said, yeah, I think they probably should have taken Lisa McPherson to the hospital sooner. You done messed up, Keebler David. Yeah, Katie definitely messed up when she said that if a Scientologist is having a psychotic episode and Scientology isn't working on them, they should be sedated. Woo! Not a good thing for a Scientologist to say on a public forum. There was one super chat I did in the interview that she never addressed, unless I missed it. I actually might have missed an earlier part of the live stream. And that was, what do you think of the fact that David Miscavige has a non-Scientologist Catholic tax attorney speak to the media on behalf of Scientology instead of actually having an actual Scientologist spokesperson? I mean, I think any Scientologist needs to ask themselves that question. If they just thought about that for a few minutes, they would come to some very damning conclusions. Thank you very much, Tarkina. Okay, let's see. We got another one from Tador again. Well, I mean, it's the only way to be sure we get him. Yes, true. Okay, let's see. Christian Donadio, you make this so easy to understand and makes it easy to talk to my friends who work for Grant Cardone. Nice. And are wanting to just take courses from the Church of Scientology to learn more for sales, but spending the check he gave them back to him. Okay, I'm gonna read this again. You make this so easy to understand and makes it easy to talk to my friends who work for Grant Cardone and are wanting to just take courses from Scientology to learn more for sales, but spending the check he gave them back to him. Okay, I'm not quite sure what the last few words of this thing means, but I really appreciate the comment. I do definitely go out of my way to try to make this easy to understand, really, because I want it to be accessible to anybody. I want someone who's never heard anything about Scientology to be able to listen to my videos and at least know what the heck I'm talking about. Scientology has its own language. Using the language is totally pointless if you're talking to non-Scientologists. And I do consider that my audience is like the entire internet. I also try to do my videos in a way that will resonate with current Scientologists. I try to, that in some way, that is always my real audience. But my other audience is literally everyone. I don't even consider that when I do my videos, I'm talking to my subscribers. I consider I'm talking to everyone. And my subscribers are just the people who've said, hey, I'd like to be notified when this person uploads a video. That's at least how I think about it. So I'm glad that you found it helpful. I'm really glad that it makes it easy for you to talk to your friends who work for Grant Cardone. And by the way, ask your friends if they'd like to be little spies for me and send me some intel on what's going on there in Cardone land. I already have some spies, but I could always use some more. And I can tell you this, Grant Cardone watches every single video that I upload, which is one of the reasons I troll him so hard. Okay, this is one of my favorite names. The Raffa Daffa Doo. Drag is what Guadalupe Street is called in Austin. Oh, I got it. New Ideal Org. As you guys know, I was just in Austin filming a few weeks ago, filming with Lex Friedman. And I did get a chance to go around. Is it 6th Street? Is 6th Street where all the hip hop, all the parties happening? Well, I can't think of the word. All the happenings, all the goings on and happenings are occurring. I went to some of the late night comedy places. Oh God, what is it called? What is it called? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yes, I would love to get photos from the drag, Guadalupe Street. Awesome. Thank you, Raffa Daffa Doo. Let's see. Oh, another one. In drag would be hilarious. I meant on the drag. See, look, my mind just went to filthy places. How about this? In drag, on the drag. Best of both worlds. Thank you. Okay, Mac D, thank you for the super sticker. Okay, guys, it looks like that's all we got for right now. I really do have like 2 or 3 more live streams coming. So stay tuned. I'm not in Austin. Was long ago a student. CCTX says hi. Beach for the win. I don't know what CCTX means. Okay. Dave Owens, I'd love Andrew Gold to interview her in 2 weeks after Osa works her over. Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. We are going to, well, how do I hide the comment? There it is. All right. Stay tuned. Much more to come. Talk to you guys soon. Here's my outro.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.